2023, Hyundai is going to introduce its first performance electric vehicle, the Ioniq 5N. Now, while we're yet to see this eagerly anticipated EV, much of its componentry can be found in this, the quite spectacular prototype RN22e. This aero-bodied racer should give us a really good indication of exactly what the Ioniq 5N and the following Ioniq 6N will be like when they do arrive. So Hyundai's invited us here to the Bend Motorsport Park in South Australia, which is incredibly exciting. You'll notice the body shape is the Ioniq 6, quite a polarizing design but incredibly slippery through the air. Also with all these aerodynamic components, giant radiator behind this end grille, duct here for the braking, we've got a duct to let air escape here, and if you look to the back of the car as well, also the rear quarter, big ducting also there for cooling purposes. And just look how mad the back end of this thing is. It is incredibly fat. You can see those big muscled arches. And how about this rear wing? It's a beauty, absolutely whopping. And also you can see the giant rear diffuser. It's completely different to what you'll see in a normal Ioniq 6, except that light strip at the back there, full of LEDs. It's an incredibly cool, good-looking vehicle. It's so unusual being in an electric vehicle, and there's this lovely exhaust rumble. It might be a false exhaust rumble, but it's certainly there, and it's gonna make this a lot more interesting than I was expecting. It does sound very convincing. Goodness me. Wow. So Hyundai says it's not gonna let any N car into its lineup unless it's a corner rascal and racetrack ready. And this thing at initial try is an absolute beast. I've already had to go around this track in Hyundai's i20N and i30N products, and while incredibly fun, the performance difference in this is just extraordinary. 430 kilowatts at 740 Newton meters, and you can feel all of it. It is rapid. Just the speed out of the corners is absolutely monumental, and just the rear end's rotating beautifully. It's giving us lovely feedback of what it's doing. The brakes feel mighty. We've got 400mm discs up front with 4 piston calipers, and it'll need it to slow down this 2.2 ton vehicle. Extraordinary. And just as we roll onto the straight here at the bend, this is the big difference. This thing will go 260 kilometers an hour, as well as cracking 100 in under 4 seconds. And it's just flying. And one thing this car does have, which is all there for a driver engagement, is simulated gear changes, which I can just operate through these paddles. Just need to get past this car if he's seen me. And this is there to make it feel much more like a proper engaging performance car. So I can just flick through my steering wheel paddles as you would a conventional gearbox. I just use that, and the simulated sound changes. I drop the gear, just flying out of these corners. The pickup is amazing. And then just down through the paddles. And the back end just flicks round. It's so much fun. It's like no other EV I've ever driven. It's so engaging. It's a proper race car. An electric race car. If this is the future for performance electric vehicles, you've got plenty to be excited about. Just wow. And yeah, big fan of this false gear shifting. It really does work well. There's a dual clutch type rear differential, which is able to separate the front and the rear motors, which is phenomenal to really help with that drivability. And just absolutely crazy. The sound of this thing, it goes from like a nice rumble, almost V8, V10 type of sound. It's just an assault on the senses. It's mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing vehicle. And if this is the future for our Ioniq 5N and Ioniq 6N, we've got plenty to be excited about. Brilliant vehicle, brilliant. that was a phenomenal experience. It really was like no other electric vehicle I've driven. But importantly, it does bring the thrills that you can get on a racetrack from a combustion engine car. All the work that Hyundai's put into this vehicle and will put in further for the Ioniq 5N and the Ioniq 6N gives us real hope that we can still get our thrills at the racetrack in an electric car. I'd love to know what you think of the vehicle and what we've discovered with it today, so please leave some comments below, and thank you very much for watching.